Hello, my name is Chandra Phillips, and I am the Teaching and Learning Specialist for Secondary Social Studies, grades 6 through 12. Greetings, administrators. Please join me as we take a virtual tour of the upcoming resources and essential materials for secondary social studies this upcoming school year. The Department of Teaching and Learning vision is that all Caddo Parish Public School students will demonstrate a high levels of learning of course relevant standards from an effective educator. Our mission is that the Department of Teaching and Learning is committed to equipping and empowering Caddo Parish Public Schools educators with knowledge, skills, and resources necessary to teach the right thing the right way to achieve desired results. Ultimately, we want all kids to demonstrate high levels of learning in all of their courses as a result of effective instruction. In order to do that, we will work to equip and empower leaders and teachers with the knowledge, skills, and resources necessary to teach the right thing the right way. And this is our approach to professional learning. Our agenda for this session. We will look at the social studies visions, objectives, and goals, review essential resources, an overview of the scope and sequence and updates, make the connection with reflection questions, and visit our next steps to support teachers using the resources provided. Our visions and goals for today. Our first objective is to, by the end of this virtual professional learning, administrators will know how teachers should utilize resources for social studies, guidance for pacing, and review models of online learning. We also want to remember that our social studies vision has not changed. We still use sources, make connections, and help students to create informed opinions as our 3 shifts in social studies. We also want to know that teachers know the available resources such as scope and sequence, the Caddo Parish SNS guide resources, and the essential documents that they should use to teach. Our social study vision has not changed, but now we review what our social study visions may look like in a virtual setting. We're still setting the content, introducing key terms, reviewing previous learnings, and provide necessary content. But that may be different in a virtual setting as it relates to utilizing Quizlet, perhaps, upload readings from Google Docs, PDF, and Kami, and websites. Students will still explore sources, but this time teachers may utilize online tools such as annotation, Kami, Google Docs, Scribble, etc. Our teachers still must help students develop claims and clarify understanding and make connections to locate evidence, and they can still utilize primary and secondary resources from the scope and sequence, unwraps, TWRs, and assessments just by uploading them on a virtual or an online setting. Lastly, express claims. Through speaking and writing, express informed opinions with evidence. Now teachers may use discussion boards, Nearpods, Zoom meetings, written assessments online. The possibilities are unlimited, but we do want them to understand that the social studies vision has not changed, it's just the platform. Essential documents. Remember, teachers will still utilize essential documents for planning their lessons. They will use GLEs to create daily lesson objectives. They will use the scope and sequence as a tier 1 resource to know what content to teach. They will use key themes to help students develop claims and make connections with the content. They will use their companion guide to help prioritize the content they will teach. And they will use the assessment guide to help prepare students for state testing and daily assessments in their instruction. The Caddo Parish Scope and Sequence guides are designed to assist teachers with resources, planning, assessments, and pacing. The Caddo Parish Scope and Sequence Guides. The first area that we'll visit on the guides is the pacing schedule outlines and DBQ alignments. Each guide comes with a pacing calendar for the school year, but for some reason, if the school schedule changes again due to unforeseen reasons, our team will go back in and make the proper adjustments and re-release them on our Caddo Social Studies website and future units that will be released. Each guide has a unit schedule from the grade and the topic that will be discussed. It is broken down daily or weekly, depending on the content or subject. This is a model of what a daily lesson could look like using the scope and sequence of your particular content or area. In this 7th grade model, you see that teachers can do their unwrap as a bell ringer. Then the documents that correlate with the scope and sequence have been hyperlinked. Then their closure could be a TWR. And if teachers have not gone through TWR training, the Writing Revolution, they have an example embedded within the schedule. This is designed to help teachers stay track of pacing. Now, teachers do not have to follow this verbatim, but it does give teachers and administrators an idea of a great way to monitor their pacing as they go through the year. The next resource in the SNS guide is the unwraps. The unwrap strategy is designed to help teachers work with students on annotating primary and secondary resources and provide them with questions or assessments with the same rigor as those that will be found in the LEAP 2025, such as multiple select, putting things in chronological order, and click and drag through graphic organizers. This way, teachers have a model of what an assessment or the rigor their assessment should be in the classroom. The next resource in the SNS guides are the Writing Revolution strategies. These were put in the guides so teachers would have a tool to help students develop their writing skills as they write in social studies for assessments. The final resources in the SNS guides to help support teachers are model lessons. These are just an example of what a daily lesson could look like and the resources and materials that are needed to do so. And these are the components of the SNS guide. Reminders, secondary social studies summer sessions that are still available. Teaching Social Studies Basics 101, virtual self-paced. We strongly suggest and recommend that teachers who are especially new to social studies or need a refresher on the resources and materials for social studies take this session. Also, how to teach historical thinking in social studies, virtual self-paced are also available. These sessions will be available for teachers through August the 15th for the summer. If your teachers have not had much experience with the Writing Revolution strategies, we also recommend that they take the on-demand session offered by ELA, digging deeper in the Writing Revolution strategies to address unfinished learning. This will also be available until August 15th. Remember, many of our sources can be found through the Louisiana Department of Education website, the Caddo Social Studies website. No secondary social studies Google Classrooms will be available this academic school year. Everything will be done through our new LMS system through Canvas. All updated SNS unit guides will be released Tuesday, July the 28th, 2020. And teachers that attended this summer will get an email notification of where to get that resource. Our closure reflection questions for today. How will you use today's session to plan your social studies support of teachers in a virtual platform? How can you use this session to drive purposeful planning utilizing online tools? How can you use the Catoscope and sequence guides as it relates to lesson structure and pacing in a virtual platform? Our next steps after this session is to dive into the SNS resources and essential document. Use resources to support teachers in planning differently. Make sure teachers have completed all of the demand social studies training. For questions or more information, please contact me, Chandra Phillips, at cmphillips@catoschools.org. Thank you